And just, I don't even know if you would consider it painful, because I think it was what a lot of, I guess, this team's fan base was hoping for. But like, because it's Toronto, any news is turmoil. Tavares, the now ex-captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs, that was weird. Auston Matthews given the C from Tavares. And like, for people who do not remember how insane this 7-game series was with Boston this year, in terms of just like, I mean, those fans, they kind of hit a new level of ruthlessness with how much they hated their own team. Like, and like, justifiably, they were upset with how the first 4 games went. But then they really started looking dumb for a second there. But we all knew how Game 7 was going to go. Like, that was just whatever. But Tavares was not good in the playoffs. Like, I mean, objectively, he was, like, I forgot he was on the ice. And it was like, hey, we have to trade Marner and Tavares immediately. Don't care what we get back for either guy. Like, that's how it is. And then I see a tweet from Chris Johnston earlier, where it was like, or I can't remember if it was a tweet or if it was in the article that he wrote, but it was like the grace that Tavares showed, which, to his credit, he was like, you couldn't have asked Tavares to be a better like sport about it. And like, because I mean, it honestly seemed like genuinely, yeah, whatever. But it's like, could lead to a longer stay in Toronto, and the fucking fans lost their minds, dude. Yeah. Which, like, again, they got what they wanted with like Matthews getting the C, but they're like, what? Might come a little extension guy here for Tavares. And it's like, fuck, god damn it. So again, I think the turmoil is more just in the fan base and like whatever the media can drum up. But what a weird time it feels. I don't know why they I feel like that could have been something that they wanted to give him an extension. They could have been like, that could have been part, like, hey, yeah, we'll keep you here, we'll give you this, but like, we want Auston to be, because Tavares has what, 1 year left on his deal right now.
Yeah.
Would you? I don't know. If to me it just seems unnecessary and weird. And like,
it drives the price down. If he's not the captain this year, the contract extension will be lower,
I guess. But like, I mean, they probably shouldn't do that in the first place. But you know, like,
well, it depends on, I don't know. Like, I understand bringing him back if it's for a reasonable number. Like, what's the cap? Like, what's the max that you would pay him to come back? Forget term, just AAV.
I honestly, with how last year went and how the playoffs went, I actually have no idea. Like, I would need to actually use this year as
fair,
like because like, even
they're going to
right now, right. But again, like, it's just, I don't really know what's going on in Toronto. Like, I like those, even like their off season, I thought was like kind of weird. I didn't love a lot of what they did in the first place. Like, with what they've got going, like, their back end is so confusing to me.
I like the goaltending.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't know. I just didn't love, like, their offseason. I thought was very weird. Outside of like their first round pick, I didn't like their draft whatsoever. And I mean, it's so weird to me that a lot of the conversation with the Toronto Maple Leafs has been like, we hired Berube, everything is fixed. I'm like, I don't think that's how this works. Mm-hmm. But all right, sure, you can. Yeah, let's go with that. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Definitely agree with you that we got to see how this year goes for Tavares. Like, this should not be the Billy G special where they give him an extension with a no move before the season starts. But like, if he's willing to come back, assuming that like there's still tread on the tires, like 6.5 wouldn't like make me too upset.
And in my head, 6 is like the max right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. It's like, you've got a guy right now in Tavares who wears the C, and just like, regardless of what his answers are, like, he answers to the media every time. And like, he's like, yeah, I don't know. Like, you guys are mean. And we did the thing again where we just like disappointed the shit out of everybody. And we didn't do anything different. And the good thing about Matthews though is that guy doesn't give a fuck, but he doesn't like scream cap. I don't know. He's their best player. I get it. Sometimes at times you want your best player to be a captain, but like I don't know.
So here's my thought though. Like in hockey, of all sports, who your captain is like isn't that important because you have a locker room. There are vocal leaders. Actually, a good example that's been brought up in the past is like Brent Seabrook. Sometimes had the A, sometimes didn't even have a letter. He was the leader of that team. He was the guy in the locker room that was like the vocal leader. Everyone likes to say that it's Jonathan Taves, but like, no, Seabrook was like the guy that kept everyone on track. He didn't give a shit if he had a letter or not. And at the end of the day, Tavares will get over it and it won't be a big deal. But for me, it's just weird that they're like forcing this. Like, oh, this is going to be the thing that gets us over the hump when like it's really not going to change much. If anything, it's just going to make things a little awkward for those guys in the room because it's like Matthews is like, I want Tavares as a C. Give it to me now. He's not mad. He's not going to turn it away. But like, it's a weird dynamic for a guy who has come in and taken the punches from the media. He's been like a good leader. From his time in New York to his time in Toronto, he's done a great job. In most markets, this isn't a big deal. Like, look at San Jose. It went from Marlowe to Thornton to Pavelski, and like it kind of was a news story, but then it goes away. In Toronto, this is going to be the talk of everything. And it just feels like a really weird timing for them. Like, as soon as his contract ends is the easiest time to make that transition, like you said. It just feels forced unless there's something we don't know about the situation that like warranted this. I can't imagine John Tavares has done anything to like have them like, oh, we got to change this.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think, and again, like especially during the playoffs, I really enjoy tuning into Leafs media because it is like, I mean, I complain about some of the people in Boston, the media here, rightfully, because there's a couple that are just I mean, it's another level. But like Toronto, things are going well, and there's about like 50 people who go post game, and they're like, "Let me find something to fuck this guy's day up with." But
there's more than 50. Like, there's more than 50.
yeah. But it's so I know like the idea of Tavares not having the C anywhere has been a thing. Like, I mean, during the playoffs, it was crazy. Like, that was one of the first topics of conversation everywhere in that, which was, again, just so weird. But one of the big knocks on him as a captain, and again, realistically, it's only funny to me because it's Toronto, like you said. Like, that's literally the only reason I even, like, give this more than 5 seconds of thought. But, like, one of the knocks on Tavares is, like, hey, this is like the locker room seems super cliquey apparently. And like when they need a boost, like Tavares isn't like the rah fucking, hey, no, we don't do that here. Whatever guy. Like he's just like a really good fucking hockey player who's older than everybody. Like it was like, I don't know. That was like one of the big knocks. And again, like one of the reasons that was very cliquey is like it was Mitch and Austin and Willie hanging out and Morgan Riley. And it was like just groups of players. So it's like, it's weird. Again, like this is just weird in my head. But not again, weird. Like the number one thing is it doesn't feel like it had to happen right now, but maybe they want to do it with Berube coming in. I have no idea. I honestly think like, I doubt Tavares is like really, I don't think Tavares really even like, I think he's like, okay.
He cares. He'll never say anything. He cares. Mm-hmm. It's also a little like side funny piece of this is that they literally stripped the like local boy who wore Maple Leafs pajamas to bed every night, made the best American hockey player their captain right before we finally get national competition back. Love it. Love that aspect. And I wonder, and I didn't even think about this until now, but have you ever done like fantasy football or fantasy anything on like DraftKings? There's this thing you can do. I don't do much of it, but
the boost.
Well, you make someone your captain.
Yeah, it's like 1.5 times salary.
Yeah, 1.5 times the salary, but like 1.5 times the points as well. And it's like, do they think that like this is just going to get Auston Matthews 100 goals this year, or like is that like their motivation? They're like, hey guys, don't know if you heard of this thing they got in the States called DraftKings. I think they're on to something here.
Yeah, well, don't tell them where HQ is then. They don't want to know where DraftKings HQ is.
Ooh, no, they don't. No, they don't. That would be bad.
I know. It's right down the street from me. Yeah.
Oh, that's a little scary. But yeah, that's a weird situation altogether. But how can we make this about the Minnesota Wild? I gotta imagine there's already people out there being like, yeah, Toronto got it right. We need to get that C off of Spurgeon and slap it right on Brock Faber. Or we need to throw it right on Kaprizov because then he can't leave.
Legally can't. I mean,
what if Kaprizov's demand was, I'll stay under 2 conditions. Number 1, I'm captain. Number 2, we get rid of that nonsense C patch and I get a K.
Oh my God, that would actually be.
Do the Wild immediately do it? They have to, right? The league comes to them like, you can't just put a K. They're like, we did. I don't know what to tell you.
Or he's like,
do you want Kirill to defect to the KHL?
Yeah.
Don't think so.
Or his demand is 1, I am captain. 2, Zuki is also captain. Both captain. 2 captains.
We are the captains now.
All right. Okay. Well, all right, Kirill. Well, and like to what you said too, like the conversation here for a long time was like, yeah, Spurgeon has a C. Everyone loves Spurgeon, but like the vocal leader in that room has always been Marcus Foligno.
Right.
And like he was very much a guy that, like they were looking at, or well, that was the speculation at least. Like Russo was floating it out there, like like in terms of who the next captain is between like guys like Spurgeon, Foligno,
David Spacek,
and there's like. David, soon to be David Spacek, best prospect in the world. But I'm telling you, in Boston, dude, I mean, even when at the tail end of Chara's career in Boston, even when he was still a good fucking hockey player, these dickheads, I almost use a really bad word. These dickheads down the street at the sports hub, two of my least favorite fucking sports media people on the planet, they actually peddled this horse shit into the world that the Bruins would have won more Stanley Cups if Patrice Bergeron had the C like 4 years earlier than he got it. And it was mind-numbing to the point where it was every 3 Bruins fan tweets replying to the team on Twitter. Like it was like one person was like, I love the Bruins. And then it was Tuukka Rask sucks. And then it was tell Chara to rip that C off his sweater and give it to Bergie. And it was unbelievable. And like it was an actual conversation almost every fucking day for like 4 or 5 years. And I mean, it was unbelievable.
I can't believe it took you this long to bring it up. I thought you were going to bring that up 2 minutes into this topic. So
I was trying not to. I eventually couldn't. I'm going to bring it up 11 more times before this episode ends.
That's pretty great. Dude, how about this though? Jordan throws in, at least Kaprizov gets to play in Norway with Zuki. Dude, he's for sure getting detained and he's not coming back.
Did you see Russo's tweet about how he had to get there?
No, what did he do?
Okay, so like there was a Russo translated the story. So Kirill, this is how he's getting there. So Kirill Kaprizov can't simply fly into Norway without a special permit. Weird, we've never dealt with that one before. Due to Russia's invasion into Ukraine, after much work behind the scenes, listen to this. Kaprizov will fly from Moscow to Istanbul to Gothenburg and then helicopter to Lillehammer, Norway, that's how much he loves this guy. That is unfucking believable. That is how he has to just get to Norway for this fucking game. It's amazing. It's incredible.
I don't. I love that he's supporting his teammate. I'm not on board with this.
Mm.
Wait. Hang on. Spin zone. He can't get back into the U.S. Can't play this season. We punt the contract issue 1 year down the road.
Fair enough.
If he doesn't come back to the States, we don't take a year off of his deal, do we?
Yeah,
I like that. It gives us 1 more year to prove to him what we can do, and we're going to get young kids into the lineup, and we're going to get a better draft pick because of it. That it's all coming together. Billy put him up to it.